Hola a todos. Hello everyone. How are you doing? My name is Richie Diaz, and today I'm really grateful and truly I have the pleasure of presenting a full-fledged artist. She's Ariane Vera. She's an international artist. And well, today we're gonna have that interview with her today. It's really great. She's over there. So let me see. We're gonna wait a little bit to the connection so everything is all right. Let's wait a little bit. Yesterday we had some troubles with the connection with Dwayne. We had a lot of troubles, but it's the internet. That's why I always say I don't trust completely in the technology. Hi, Ariane, can you hear me?
Hi. Finally, yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me as well?
I hope my Wi-Fi is strong enough.
That's great. Yeah, I was telling the audience that yesterday I had troubles with my guest, but it was something related to the internet. It has nothing to do with my connection because everything's already well set up here. Anyway, yeah.
I hope it's not my internet.
No, I mean, well, I was telling the audience that I feel the great pleasure of having you here in my program, Yes to Kill Otro. And these minutes that we're going to share is basically to share information about you, about your career, and also, of course, to say a message. I know that you have a lot to say. I was reviewing your information. I was checking everything that what you sent me. Besides, I did my own research, and it's really amazing. So
well, thank you for doing that. Like, it's really cool that you actually engage with the stories that you're going to tell, and then also thank you for listening to that. What was it? 13-minute long voice message that I sent you. So
absolutely. No, absolutely amazing. It captured, my attention, everything what you have done. And it's really great because you have a voice. You have a voice and you have the power to say something throughout your voice, which is really great. The first question for you is, tell us about your origins. I know that you have these German and these Argentinian roots, but tell us a little bit more about that. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Ariane, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, so I was born in Germany. Yeah, I can. I hope the Wi-Fi connection is good. I can. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, something happened. It was like something of a sudden just stopped.
I can.
We're okay now.
Oh, Wi-Fi.
Something is going on. I can hear you perfectly. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I actually can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. I was born in the south of Germany, in Munich, and my mom is German and my dad is Argentinian and Spanish, but he was born and raised in Argentina. So I grew up with two cultures and two languages also, and yeah, I think that really enriched me because I also listened to a lot of Latin American music, which for me seemed normal, but whenever I was talking to friends about it and then they didn't know it, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that normal. But yeah, that definitely enriched my music also.
Absolutely. What was it like embracing these two cultures?
I think what it taught me is that there is no good or bad. There's just we can all learn from one another, and cultures are there and differences are there to enrich one another and to also broaden our horizon, because there are things that we might not see the same way, but it always is something very positive. If you talk to a person that sees the world with different lenses, that just enriches life of yourself, but also of the other person, of everyone around you, because you will also carry that with you.
Absolutely. We know that you studied in international relations and
Yes.
also English literature, and I also did it. You know, that
Cool.
was kind of cool for me to know because I also studied English literature. Uh, but what was it like? It I mean, because you had to go to another country to live over there, to study over there. What was it like the experience of being abroad and all of that?
I wanted to study abroad, so I went to Scotland. And I think once I arrived in Scotland, I actually noticed how German I was. Because
Oh,
when you're in
okay.
a different country, then you realize all your habits, all like the small things that you do in your everyday life, they just change. So that was super interesting. And also, a lot of my friends were from all around the world. So we celebrated their holidays and then we shared our typical food, and that was so cool. And study-wise, I think, like especially literature, I so enjoy it. I so enjoy writing and I so enjoy reading. So yeah, that was fun.
That's really great. We're gonna talk about that later because you know I also have my favorite ones like Charles Dickens, Bram Stoker, and all of those the
Oh,
classical ones. You
cool.
know, I also had to do it. Yeah, it's really great. Tell us a little bit about your talks because, as a matter of fact, I was doing some research and I found some talks, the talks that you did for the TEDx talks. You know,
Yeah, the
how
TED
was
Talks.
that? How was yeah? How was that experience? Or how did you get involved in doing that?
Okay, so what I really like about TED is that you have to present something within 18 minutes. So you cannot talk any longer. And the concept behind this is that you share an idea and that all the ones in the room that are listening, they sync because they have the same images in their minds and they have the same, yeah, they think about the same idea. So that is really, really cool. And preparing for the TED Talks was cool because you have to think about who am I? What is the message that I want to transmit within 18 minutes? And yeah, practice a lot. like, but
I
that was so
noticed.
cool. Like, also,
I noticed
people,
that.
yeah. Hmm? Sorry?
Sorry interruption. I noticed that you were over there very self assured. You know, addressing to the audience and all that. That's really great. I mean, not everybody can do that because it takes some time to practice and all that, which is really great for you to do it. No.
Yeah, I mean, the minutes before you hit the stage, they're the worst.
Yeah,
like, I'm
absolutely.
just like shaking like this, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then once you're on stage, and if you've practiced well, then you just forget everything around you, and then you just live in the moment, and that's what I really enjoy about talking and speaking.
Absolutely. Uh, Tell us a little bit about. I was reading your kind of your biography, let's say it like that. What really captured as well my attention was like the thing that you sang for the Parliament, the European Parliament. How was that? How do you get that? And what is the feeling? You know, that once you are over there in that stage, what is the feeling that you feel that you're supposed to feel?
It was very powerful because I realized that I should never doubt again that I have a voice, and everybody has a voice. But especially for artists, sometimes, it's like, yeah, art is not taken seriously, and then it's just like art is not as important as politics, but it's all the same. It's really all the same. It's just different ways how to transmit a message. So being in the European Parliament and actually singing Dear Pachamama, which is a song about taking care of nature, was so like it felt so real. Also because the idea why I wrote the song was to share Pachamama, which is known in Latin America and South America, but not known in Europe, and then bringing Pachamama to Europe, that was a special moment.
That's really great. By the way, I had a chance to listen to that song, which is really great.
Thank
What is
you.
like what you? Of course, I have noticed that your message is really clear. You have something to say about what you feel is right for the world, which is really great. What can you tell us about that specific song? How did it come to your mind? How do you put it in your words and put it out there?
That song, it sometimes feels like I am not really creating it, but just listening and just being open to receive a song. And I had this phrase in my mind, like, Dear Pachamama, I'm sorry for what we've done to you. And then it just popped up again and again and again. And then I picked up my guitar, and then the song was created within 15 minutes. So it really was like receiving the song. And then I think you also have a big responsibility, because if you are in that moment chosen to have this idea, then you should share it, and you should sing it, and you should get it out there, and make it also not about yourself, but about everyone who's listening to that song. And I think it's a message, like it's a kind message. It's not saying you have to do this. It's saying, hey, look at all these beautiful things that you have around you, and just take care of them and be connected to them. And don't forget that you're also part of nature.
Yeah, that's great. It's like if you are trying to say like, hey, be aware of what's going on out there, right? Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey,
I like that a lot. You know, when I heard it, oh my God, it was kind of captured my heart, because we as artists, we don't write, we don't sing only about love, which is really great, because it is the greatest value and all of that. But also we can also share different ideas about what is happening around the world, you know, like daily topics, current topics that we are facing every single day, which is really your message for me is really clear, and it's really great, and I'm amazed about what you're doing.
Thank you.
For real. Tell us about your side as a writer. We know that you have written a lot from magazines, from you have written like ebooks and all of that. Tell us about that side that you have.
Okay, so I started writing for magazines about topics like sustainability, women empowerment, climate change, etc. But it wasn't really creative writing. So I've always written a lot of poetry, a lot of stories, but I've never really shared them, because it was like, it's not good enough, and it's just, you know how it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just scared to pour out your heart and then have it.
I feel you.
So, but now, with Corona and everything, I think it really was like a sign from life saying, well, you can't give concerts right now, so you sit down and you write your stories and you do your books. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Over here, at this point, I just want to tell you, that we feel really grateful to have people around us like you, because you contribute a lot, you know, in many senses, not only in the music, which is really great. We have a voice, we speak up and all of that. But as a writer, you contribute a lot. As a matter of fact, you have written this book about women empowerment and leadership as a co-author, no? Tell us a little bit about that specific ebook that you wrote.
Okay, so it was for a leadership consultancy. And the topic of women empowerment, especially in leadership, is really big, because there's still, well, we all know that there's a gender pay gap. Germany is actually, it's 21% that women earn less than men. 21%, that's quite a lot. So, it was something that I wanted to address. But, you know, in the meantime, I don't see the world anymore as like men and women. I see it as souls, and I think that we should judge every person not from how he or she or like the person appears, but how that person loves and how that soul interacts with the world. And I see it more in like female energy and male energy, and I think that would make so much more easier, because then we wouldn't have to put people into boxes, or we wouldn't have to search for labels or categories, but we would just see souls instead of like the outside. So
that's really great. You know what? I'm amazed because of your message. Souls, your concept of seeing people as souls, now as let's say, sometimes we are under those titles. No, I'm a licenciado. Let's say I'm a this or that. Only titles, but no, we don't see like the core of what we of our essence, you know what I mean? Like, and your concept of that is really great. It's really, it enlightened us a lot, for real. I think
it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I feel really great. I think that now it's time for an intervention. I think that we want to hear you singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I sing you Dear Pachamama.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice to hear it.
Do you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay. Dear Pachamama, I'm sorry for what we've done to you. You deserve the best and you got the worst. I regret your teardrops got sour and the erosion show that you sometimes break down. Give me seeds of your pain, I'll care for them well, let them blossom and grow. Your sickness with love, I promise every morning when I wake I will guide and be grateful that the sweet breeze of summer heat up my skin. I'll let all those flowers fill my heart with joy. I'll fly like a leaf over water and earth, and when the moon announces it's time, I go to sleep and thank you. Dear Pachamama, I'm sorry for what you have to go through. The sound of your oceans resembles a cry, and we watch to little, but let the time go by. And I wish me love be over soon. Give me seeds of your pain, I care for them well, let them go, silent grow. Your sickness with love, I promise every morning when I wake I will guide and be grateful. Let the sweet rays of sun heat up my skin. I let all those flowers fill my heart with joy. I fly like a leaf over water and earth, and when the moon announces it's time, I go to sleep and thank you.
Wow. Wow. That's a fabulous song, for real. I liked it a lot. I liked it. I recommend the audience to go to Spotify, is where you have it, right?
Yeah, it's Ariane Vera on Spotify, and yeah, all platforms actually, like YouTube, Apple Music, whatever you listen to.
Exactly. Please follow this amazing artist. Is really worth it. I mean, for real. Your message is really great. I like that. I want to share something with you because I feel connected in this moment. I feel connected with that. A couple of well, not a couple. When I was starting the music, we were kind of aware of what was going on, you know, and also we wrote this song, which is called is the message is kind of similar to yours, but a little bit different. But before I sing it, I want to ask you, why Pachamama? What does it have a specific name, that a specific like meaning or something?
Yeah, Pachamama is Mother Nature. So in South America, from like stemming from also indigenous influences, Pachamama is Mother Earth.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. Yeah, my bad.
Sorry,
yeah, but it's great. I want to share with you this song, which is called Un Cielo Igual. The other day, we had the opportunity of going over there to Anca. You were over there as well, you know, with Anuart Reyes at Anca Producciones. Yeah, and I had a chance of singing, of performing this song, which I really liked it as well. Well, I didn't write it. This song was written by a friend of mine. He was my bass player at that moment. But we were doing a lot of music together at that time. And this is something that just we got. Can you hear my guitar?
Yes.
Cada amanecer que miro hacia el sol, me doy cuenta que no alumbra igual y que el viento sopla hacia donde no hay calor. Hay quienes tienen más por qué, y si muchos no tienen para vivir, que el sol ilumine aquel lugar en donde las flores no crecen, no hay agua en el mar, solo hay fe, pidiendo a gritos un cielo igual. Viviré buscando una mano que quiera ayudar. Si pudiera ver que el mundo va a cambiar, sería luz, sería paz. Si muchos no tienen para vivir, que el viento camine a aquel lugar en donde las flores no crecen, no hay agua en el mar, solo hay fe, pidiendo a gritos un cielo igual. Viviré buscando una mano que quiera ayudar, y tal vez el mundo pudiera volver a girar. Oh.
Wow. Wow. That was such a nice song, and the lyrics and the message, I really liked it. Once this
Thank you
is
so
over,
much.
we should definitely sing together.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, your song is also quite touching. You know, I just felt it really deep in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're here for, you know, to speak up and to say something that is really meaningful.
Yeah.
I have a few more questions for you. You were living. What was it like growing up? You lived 18 years, as far as I remember, in Germany, no?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What was it like the change of going over there abroad to study, but also your change to Mexico? And why Mexico? Why did you decide to come to Mexico?
Okay, so I know this sounds really weird, but going to Mexico for me seemed like going to another home. It never felt like going abroad or going to a foreign country. It always felt like going somewhere else that I loved. What drew me to Mexico in the beginning was the Day of the Dead, because I remember that moment. I didn't have a really good time, and I thought, what is it that I want to do in my life? Like that one thing that I really want to do. If I was going to die soon, what would I regret? And it was seeing the Day of the Dead. So okay,
Okay. That's a good motive. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So, and then it was a classic. I came for love, but not only love in the romantic way, but also love for life, for life here, for the colors here, for how I was received, for the stories that I saw, for the people that I met. Still, so yeah, it was.
That's
love.
great. Yeah, I mean, love is what moves, moves the world. I mean, if we really feel it, no. Now, what's up with all this issue? I mean, around the globe, we cannot say that is love. Let me restate this phrase because it's kind of weird. I know that love is what moves the world, but now it seems like love is kind of hidden somehow, you know, by certain people. We feel it and we try to share it, but yeah, we are living tough times. That's what I just trying to tell you. Your music. Let's talk a little bit about your music.
Okay.
How many albums do you have so far?
Albums, none. I wanted to start my album, like recording the album in March, but then Corona came and then it was like, yeah, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Singles published on Spotify, it's like 6, it's going to be 7. Bandcamp, there's another one. So yeah, it's like around, let's say 10 that I published on like the platforms. And then there's YouTube also where I share a little bit more songs, but I would like to record them in a proper way before I put them on Spotify. So the acoustic version is always on YouTube. And then, yeah, once the song starts to like grow, then I usually put it on the platforms.
But that's really great. I mean, because nowadays I think that the music industry has changed as well, you know. Probably in the past we talked about making records, but nowadays it's about making singles, you know, and release them and all of that, which is really great. I mean, your approach of making music is not bad at all. It's only different. Probably I have met many people that today is working under that approach of releasing singles, making the appropriate like promotion and all of that, which is really great. It's a different method. It's a very current method, which is really great. It has nothing to do with the old-fashioned way, you know. But it's anyways great.
It's definitely different. And I mean, like now with Spotify and social media and everything, I think it's not only about the song, but also about creating a community and connecting and telling the story of the song. It's not only like putting a song out there and then it's out, but it's like really sharing what has brought the song to life or what does it mean to other people who listen to it. So I think it's really a lot about also connecting.
Terrific. When I was listening to your biography, the one that you sent me, something also jumped over there, you know, like you mentioned over there that when you returned to your country, you felt like you were rejected. In what way? In what way do you feel? In what way you felt like you were rejected?
Okay, so that was about 2-3 years ago. So when I finished my studies, then I went to Mexico for 5 weeks, and then I went to Argentina for 3 months. And I spent a lot of time in Latin America. I know that Argentina is very different from Mexico, but I think that there is a Latin American heritage, like culture also. And then I saw the world literally from another perspective also. I saw Europe from the outside. I understood, even if I don't like using the terms, but I understood what it means to be in a first world country or like to grow up with a lot of privileges. And I saw people then in Germany not being aware of their privileges and using a lot of stereotypes and a lot of words that do harm. They talk bad about Latin America. They like not everyone, like I have to say this, not everyone, but like in general, I think we've seen this also now with the racism debate, that there is a lot of unawareness about racist structures or like neo-colonial structures that still exist, but you don't really feel them in Germany if you're not forced to feel them. So
I follow you.
Yeah, so that was quite harsh. But then by now, I think if you travel, then it's always a gift that you get to see different countries, different places, get to know different people. And then it's also a responsibility, and all you have to do is share the stories. So that's what I try to do, to be a bridge and to not judge, but to just share.
Exactly. You know what happens? Because, well, I was living in the United States as well, and I also perceived that the same thing by certain people. But of course, people that is not aware of that is because they have never traveled around the globe. They don't see things like many of the citizens that have the opportunity of going out see it. Because once that you are out of even your own country, you start valuing things in such a way that you feel it like, oh my God, you know, I appreciate those things that are done in my country or even in this country. You know, every single country has many things to share, to share. And
Exactly. Yeah.
of course, there are many people that they are not aware of that because they, well, it is because of many factors, you know. It may be also because of the racism that it prevails over there in their minds, but also because of ignorance of many other factors. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, and
But
if you're not
anyway,
exposed to, yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, if you're not exposed to it, then how, like, obviously you have a responsibility, I think, especially as a white person, to be aware of like the history, the colonial history, and white privileges. And there is something like social media and Wikipedia out there, so you just have to type it in and then read about it as a start.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I mean, we all have busy lives, so that's at least what is being promoted, like to have a busy life. And then if you come home from like a 60-hour week, where do you get that energy from to still engage with that topic if you're not confronted with it and if you don't have to do something about it? So yeah, I refrain from making reproaches. I just think that it's even more important than to share stories and to say, hey, there's another story than the one that you live. So just pay attention and then we can all change something.
Absolutely. Joel Nardi asked us or asked you, Ariana, Ariana, well, he wrote Ariana as Ariane. Why do you choose to live in Aguascalientes?
Love. So
love.
Yeah, so yeah, my partner lived in Aguascalientes, so it was like obvious that I would come here. But yeah, I really, really like the city, and I still enjoy the sunsets, even if it's a complete cliche. But I still enjoy the sunsets every evening.
And how do you feel now? I mean, how long have you lived here? How long have you lived here?
1.5 years.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's great. You went also to Chiapas, no? To the cafe plantation, no?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, such an adventure. So in Germany, we have coffee, but coffee doesn't grow. So all the coffee that we drink, it gets imported. Just to set like a framework. So 33% of all the coffee that is produced in the world is being exported to the European Union. So that's a third. That's really a lot. Now, think about it. A German average consumes around 8 kilos of coffee a year. The average in Mexico is 1.5 kilos. So Mexico is a producing country and growing also as a consuming country, whereas Germany is only a consuming country. So there was something missing between, a cup of coffee and all the story that's behind. So I was fascinated to see, how does the coffee grow? How is it planted? How does it get transported? And I saw the hard work that is behind it. And I saw how important it is to share the story so we can make more conscious decisions. Because it's not the same if I buy instant coffee by a multinational brand or if I actually support a coffee produced by farmers that do it in an organic way and protect our health and protect our planet. So yeah, so that was my mission, to share the story of coffee and to say a cup is a lot more than just a cup.
Do you make a documentary or something? Do you film it or something, or what?
Sorry?
Do you make a documentary on that visiting, or?
Yeah, I filmed everything. I wrote different articles for a few platforms and magazines about it. And I had, now in January and February, I was on tour in Germany. And I had different presentations in different cities where I showed a video of like about 10 minutes, where I showed how does it look like. And also I interviewed the farmers with their consent, obviously. And then they shared what it's like to work on a coffee plantation.
That's great. Is it published already? Is it published?
It's ready. It's on my YouTube channel, so you can.
Let's check it out, fellas. Let's check it out. It's really interesting. This is really interesting. So we're gonna check it out. You know, because I feel like it's something that everybody should know. You know, I had a trip. I had a trip to Colombia this year before the Corona, and of course I brought some bags of different types of coffee. And one of these days we can share a little bit of that. You know, why not? Probably you have tasted it, right?
Uh-huh.
The Colombian one is also very good coffee. What do you usually write about? What do you usually write about in terms of music? Because we know that your side as a writer is It's kind of well established. You have a voice, you have a message. But in terms of music, what do you usually write about?
I think what I feel in the moment. Sometimes I cannot make sense of what is going on around me or inside me, and then I grab a pen and paper and I write it down. And that is so healing. Like, I do think that music is my therapy, because then once I've sung it out, everything makes sense. So yeah.
And you do it beautifully. We want to hear you again.
Okay. Any wishes of a specific song?
No, go ahead. You're free to sing whatever you want to sing.
Okay. Okay, so the song is in English and it's called My Breath. And it's a love song that says, I love you so much, you are my breath that I need to live.
Go ahead.
You are my breath, my strength, my anchor, you're the solid ground. I put my feet on you, my own miracle, my own favorite song, and you're my everything. Let me tell you that I think all the time of you, when we knew we had all the time of the world. It's just so hard to get used to goodbye, and it's such a cold comfort knowing that time goes by. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Just a second of silence, silence, silence. You're my breath, my strength, my anchor, you're the solid ground. I put my feet on you, my own miracle, my own favorite song, and you're my everything. You're my breath, my strength, my anchor, you're the solid ground. I put my feet on you, my own miracle, my own favorite song, and you're my everything.
A beautiful song. That's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
I had the chance of listening a few songs of yours, and yeah, I mean, this one I liked it a lot. What is the name of that? Can you repeat the name of the song?
The new one, so Toulouse.
No, this one. This one, the one that you just sang.
This one.
The one. Yeah.
This is My Breath. I haven't actually published it on social, like on the platforms. I wrote it when I was 15, so that's an oldie goldie.
But but it's called My Birth. My Birth. That's what you said.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's the name of the song? Because I didn't catch it.
Okay. The title is My Breath.
My Breath. Okay. My Breath. I'm gonna write down over here because I'm gonna listen one more time. It's really beautiful. You know, I liked it a lot. I was telling you that I heard Vamos a Estar Bien, and oh my God, it's a beautiful song as well. You know, Vamos a Estar Bien is the one that you made over there with Anka, you know, for the live session. And also I liked Yellow, which is the one that you have this colorful video on the road and all of that.
Yeah.
It's really great. Can you share with us a little bit about one of those songs, please? Vamos a estar bien. Let's try Vamos a estar bien. Can we do that?
Okay. Yep, the lockdown song. So the message of the song is like, whatever happens, we're going to be fine. And there's going to be a way. No sé qué pasará mañana. Solo sé que vamos a estar bien. porque tú y yo corremos por el mundo. Contigo yo iría hasta el fin. No te desesperes, mi amor, que todo va a estar bien. Tus ojos en los míos, mis demonios en tu mundo, entre todo ese caos, toda poesía dicen que la luz llega hasta la oscuridad. Tengo miedo, mucho miedo de perder mis colores, cada día los agarro, te doy la colección, cuídalos. Con tus pies tan firmes en la tierra, eres mi torre en cada tormenta. No sé qué pasará mañana, solo sé que vamos a estar bien, porque tú y yo corremos por el mundo. Contigo yo iría hasta el fin. No te desesperes, mi amor, que todo va a estar bien. A veces me despierto atrapada en la niebla y las nubes tan oscuras me dicen nada me vaya, y no sé si yo logro escapar. Y tú sos mi refugio, tus palabras traen calma y el ritmo de tus pasos es mi latido. No sé qué pasará mañana, solo sé que vamos a estar bien, porque tú y yo corremos por el mundo. Contigo yo iría hasta el fin. No te desesperes, mi amor, que todo va a estar bien.
Wow, beautiful song, for real. Yeah, you know, you have very good lyrics, very good harmonies and melodies, and really catchy phrases. Like now, from now on, I'm gonna be your fan. I'm gonna be consider myself your fan because I like your music.
Fan. I'm definitely your fan. Wait,
no, for real.
Turn on the light. It's probably going to look a little bit weird. Okay, like this. I think it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. No, it's really, I mean, it's really great having this conversation. I think that it has certain flow and all of that, and I have enjoyed. I want to share something with you. I'm going to share this song, and probably I'm going to say this in front of the audience. We have to do a featuring, you know. It would be just great because right now we're in the same city and all of that. This is my... At the beginning of this year, I returned from the States. I was living over there for a long time, and I just returned, and it's really great. I mean, being here under these bad circumstances, but we're still here. So we should do something. We're gonna talk later on about that. I'm gonna share with you my last song, the last song that I have written. This is called Acuarela. I hope you like it. Fui yo bendecido desde el primer día en que te vi. Fuiste tú quien me mostró el camino hacia el color de esta vida. Una vez que tuve el pincel en mi mano dibujé un rostro de alegría, de cariño y también de fe. Andar de tu mano, viviendo Pasarnos los años pintando los cuadros con la acuarela de este amor. Acuarela, 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 acuarela. Oh, 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 Param pam pam, param pam pam pam. Param pam pam, param pam pam pam. Param pam pam, param pam pam. Estaba en el estudio intentando colorear una canción. De pronto apareció en mi mente un corazón multicolor. Qué gran bendición ser el artista de cada día de nuestras vidas. Que contigo todo se percibe de una forma tan sutil. Andar de tu mano por la playa en verano, mirando la puesta del sol. Pasarnos los años pintando los cuadros con la acuarela de ese amor. Acuarela, 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 oh, acuarela, oh, oh,
That was so good. I really liked the rhythm. It's like so jazzy. I just imagined, I don't know, like a summer evening, then summer in the city center park with Calientes. Hopefully we can return soon. But yeah.
No, thank you. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate your words. Yeah, we definitely have to do something, you know, like a featuring or something. I haven't had the chance of meeting you like live, you know, but anyways, it would be great one of these days just to meet up or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I heard your song Yellow, which I found it really interesting as well and really beautiful. It's a beautiful song. I would like you to sing it for all the audience, and of course mention where. I mean, I want to recall the audience that this interview is gonna be, of course, over there posted in Instagram TV, but as well in my YouTube channel. You can find me as Richie Diaz, in my YouTube channel, also in the other social networks, except for this one, which is Richie Diaz AGS or Richie Diaz AGS, whatever you want to say it. But yeah, this interview is gonna be over there, so you can, if you didn't have the chance of listening to Ariane, which is really amazing, you are gonna have the chance of listening and seeing the whole interview in my YouTube channel, also here in Instagram TV. But anyway, we have time for another song of yours.
Okay. Yellow. So I hope I don't mess this up because like it's been some time that I played this. But
yeah, don't worry.
Give me a moment. Okay, I got it.
There you go. Don't worry.
I lost my rose on any any kind of direction. It's my heart to be with you. Nothing will ever make us fall asleep, but it doesn't matter anyway. I was okay until it all started. This was
Don't
like
worry.
the most embarrassing moment. Like, I haven't played this
Nah,
and then
this is
I was
live.
mixing up
This
the chords. This is so embarrassing. I will practice the next time and you will have to tell me, and then I'm
no.
messing it up.
Don't worry. I mean, you're the artist. This is your space. This is your stage. You can do whatever you want to do with it.
No, it is embarrassing because it's my song, but like, anyways, it happens. Like,
No, it happens.
like, see, sometimes like when you write a song, then it's like phases. So like this would be with the Vamos a estar bien phase, which happened like at the beginning of the lockdown. So now I'm just so focused on other songs that sometimes I just don't practice the songs that I've written before, and then I just mess it up. But yeah, okay.
Don't worry. Tell us a little bit about your social networks. Where can we find you, and what are your plans now in general for the future? I mean, the things that you want to do.
I would like to grow music-wise, and that I can share my music with more people, share it in more places, and tell more stories through music. And I would like to really get a foot into writing also, and yeah, start publishing books.
That's great. Those are like great expectations, let's say. A little bit, I was forgetting to ask you something. This experience of being in Uganda, how was it? What was it like? And was it a special program? So they sent you over there, or what was the experience in general?
Which one? Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, like can you tell us a little bit about your experience being over there in Uganda?
In Uganda. Oh yeah, definitely. So we traveled to Uganda about a year ago. And it was a music project. So we did music together with the partner school of my sister and with ukuleles.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really interesting getting to know Uganda. Uganda is a beautiful place. It's so green. The people are so nice. Like, it was cool. And coffee was also growing there. So it was also nice to discover coffee in Uganda. Yeah, so
absolutely.
I felt very dear. Yeah.
Is it an English-speaking country as well? I don't know a lot of things about Uganda.
English is one of the official languages. The other official language is Luganda. But there are several languages spoken, but English is spoken, everywhere because of history. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And what about that program? Is it already done, or does it still have like a continuity, over there?
Yes, like the exchange is still there, and we try to, like more locally. Like, I always talk about Uganda when I give concerts and address it and share also. And yeah, because I think sometimes we speak about Africa as if it was a country, but there's more than 50 countries on the African continent. So we have to be very careful with the ideas that we have and how we speak. We have to be careful with our words also. And before we judge, we have to inform ourselves. And
absolutely.
So I always talk about this. And then locally now in Germany, they're trying to give this project a bigger reach so that it also becomes like a long-lasting partnership. And it's not only something that has been done once, but something that is mutual, and that is it's not helping as like from above, but it's like a partnership on the same level. That is the idea.
I'll follow you. The last question is your movement about singing outside the civic center.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that movement, because it's really interesting? Besides, it has like a clear message, no?
Yeah. So Fridays for Future is an initiative or a movement that was founded by Greta Thunberg, a Swedish girl, then 16 years old. And she went on a strike. She didn't go to school on Fridays. And then millions of students and teachers and people in general joined her. And there was no Fridays for Future in town in Aguascalientes, and I thought it would be nice to start it. So I took my guitar and started singing in front of the city hall every Friday. And it wasn't meant as a protest, so it wasn't meant as a reproach or like saying, you have to, you have to. It was more like using art also as a means to address that we have to take care of nature and that we are part of nature. And I think sometimes music transmits a lot more than words. So I tried to use music also as a way of, yeah, starting a conversation and just saying we have to take care of our planet.
Has it had like an impact on government or something? Or what have you noticed about?
That wasn't really the aim. The aim was more to start conversations on the street. And there were so many people who came. Then I was joined by a lot of friends who also took their instruments, and we did all art together. And we talked to people who were just, passing, and they were like, I like a project. And that was really what it was about, to like talk to people. It wasn't about striking or pressure or government, nothing.
Oh, got it. But for now, it's kind of stopped, right?
Yeah.
For now, it's stopped because of the corona. That's really great. That's really, really great. You know what? When a chat goes this warm and, you know, with this flow, time passes really quickly. But well, it's almost, we have only 4 minutes left.
4 minutes.
4 minutes left before, you know, the application just closes down. So I'm going to share a little part of a song that I want to share with you. This is called Benta. And this song, I wrote it in a moment of my life when I was feeling kind of with a lot of a mixture of feelings, you know, like a mix of feelings. Because I was living in the States, and I felt like, you know, I want to come back and all of that. I don't know if it has happened to you, this homesick thing and all of that. But anyway, I wrote this, and it goes like this. Estoy solo en ese lugar, en esta extraña ciudad. El tiempo se me termina ya. No sé bien, no soy el mismo de ayer. Hay nuevas marcas en mí, viviendo todo este año aquí. Hoy tengo ganas de anclar, tengo ganas de huir, ganas de estar junto a ti. Soñé una vida de paz, con un mundo feliz, historias que compartir. Gané más de lo que perdí, el confort se quedó atrás y una vida nueva vislumbré. Perdí el miedo nuevo vivir y él siempre estuvo aquí, dándome fuerza para seguir. Pues sé, la vida me trajo aquí y algo debo aprender, algo tengo que discernir. Tu luz siempre me guiará, la decisión está en mí y la palabra tiene poder. Corre el viento, corre el tiempo, nada quedará en suspenso, todo es un constante movimiento. Nada queda estático, llega, va y se transforma, la vida se reinventa cada hora. Oh, oh. And it goes, you know, one more time the chorus.
That's so deep. Wow, thank you for sharing it.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you for listening to me as well. The purpose of this is basically sharing. The application is now announcing me that we only have 20 seconds. So thank you so much for sharing this important interview.
Thank you. It was awesome.
And we hope
so much.
Yeah, the same. I hope that we can do this one more time during the rest of the year. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate
It
it.
was so much fun.